at ET Now, we are taking a new initiative to appeal to everyone who is associated with stock markets or financial markets that in need of the hour, one must do their bit. Let's all of us come together, express solidarity, show unity, and take a resolve that we are committed to fight this virus war. We can do that by getting rid of the pessimism which is getting created in this kind of an environment, and also by doing our bit in terms of doing a financial contribution. So starting today, ET Now is launching an appeal that all of us must come together and do their bit. And it brings me great pleasure to start this campaign with a very old Dalal Street veteran and a very good friend of mine, Madhusudan Kela. Madhu, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Hope you and your family and everybody at home is safe.
Yes, Nikunj, thank you for having me. And we were having this discussion the other day, and I'm glad that you have taken it up and you're taking this cause to many people. We are very fortunate. Everyone is well. We are at home, strictly adhering to the lockdown as desired by our beloved Prime Minister. And everyone at home and all the employees are okay. Thank you so much.
So, Madhu, since we are launching this initiative with you, why don't you use this forum to appeal to those who are your friends, who are perhaps your followers, and those who you have always interacted with? Tell us, how are you planning to contribute?
So Nikunj, I've been doing my bit for last week, 10 days. There is no need to advertise what you are doing. So we will keep it like that. But I personally feel financial services is the largest component of the Indian economy, which includes stock exchanges, which includes banks, which includes custodians, which includes basically mutual funds and investors. Over the last 10-15 years, if I look at the longer term time frame, this is the industry and the investors have benefited out of the growth of the country. And I think this is when the country needs us. The country needs, it is not only up to the government or RBI or Ambani's and Tata's to do charity and to contribute for this cause. In fact, I would appeal to all the people who have known me, whether my friends, relatives, all your viewers, and I'm sure we have made some difference to their portfolio over a period of time with interaction with people like us. I would humbly urge with both folded hands that this is the time to rise. This is the time to ensure that we recognize that the country is passing through one of the most difficult times, and this kind of a situation happens once in 100 years. Last time it happened was with Spanish flu 100 years back, and roughly we are coping with something like this. So it is the responsibility of each and every individual to come forward and contribute for this cause. And this is my humble appeal with folded hands. It doesn't matter how much you contribute, where you may end up contributing 500 rupees or 5,000 rupees or 5 crore rupees or 500 crore rupees, but each one of us must rise to this occasion and contribute to best of our ability. And also, Nikunj, don't take it as a superstition. I think ये कुछ ना कुछ जैसे ग्रहण लग जाता है ना, ये ऐसा कुछ ना कुछ अपने फाइनेंशियल पोर्टफोलियोज में भी, स्टॉक मार्केट में भी कहीं ना कहीं ये हुआ है कोरोना की वजह से. एंड ऑल्सो I hope that with what the Prime Minister did yesterday, getting a light into everyone's house by lighting up a diya, I think this small contribution will also pave the way for people to get rid of this anomaly which has happened with everyone.
Right. So, Madhu, Sunday रात को 9 बजे 9 minute तक दिया जलाओ. The 1.3 crore Indians, they came together, they showed a resolve, they showed solidarity, there was an absolute display of unity. If that is our weakest moment, Madhu. I'm sure looking at how all of us are hoping, praying, and united, it's a matter of time, I guess, medically also, we will see back of this coronavirus.
See, Nikunj, I am very confident, and we are analysts, and we go by the numbers. So if you see even the global numbers, and I shared that with you, 3 weeks back, the number of people who were getting infected worldwide by coronavirus was anywhere between 15 to 20,000. Now we are seeing the number of recoveries being at 15 to 20,000. So I would say that 3 weeks down the line, what is the infection today will become a kind of recovery worldwide. And I don't see the infection rising at the same pace as it has risen in the last 3-4 weeks, because everyone is alert. There is lockdown across the world. Every country, every citizen of the individual countries are taking extreme precautions. So at some point of time, I would say that vis-a-vis coronavirus, just going by pure arithmetic numbers, you will see the number of recovery, the percentage of people getting recovered, the number of people getting recovered will be significantly higher than the people who than what it has been in the past. And at some point of time, the recovery and the infected people will come. That number should come very close, is what I'm estimating, which is today 4 to 5x. And even in India, if you see, I hear reports, we have risen, it has crossed 4,000, it has crossed 3,500. Had we not taken the step which the government took, I think the situation would have looked far worse. Just imagine if international flights were not closed on the 22nd March, and if we had not had this lockdown for 15 days, things would have been far worse. So it is contained significantly. And I tweeted, maybe over the next few weeks, we will see the worst of coronavirus pass through India also. Fortunately, the good news is the testing which we are doing in India versus the percentage of people who are getting infected is one of the lowest in the world. And I wish and pray that it continues this way. And we are able to pass through these difficult times in matter of few
We've
weeks.
seen government action where they have tried to help the poorest of the poor by DBT. That's a step in the right direction. Help those who are really struggling to even eat daily bread. Then Reserve Bank of India, on expected lines, they brought rates down and they've come out with a moratorium period. But do you think the fiscal urgency is missing now? And given that how other big countries are now printing money, they are coming out with fiscal stimulus, do you think government should come up with something which will support sectors where the hit has been hard, or government needs to start spending aggressively so that demand comes back? Because Madhu, the problem now, even though we are a country of 1.3 billion, is demand has just evaporated.
I think it will come, Nikunj. If you look at the priority of the government is first to ensure that the people who do not have food, they should be fed. And I think that is the right step which is being taken as a first step. And I'm sure the government will recognize that, the industry is passing through, will pass through very difficult times. Select sectors will pass through very difficult times. And I'm quite confident that government will go all the way, and the Reserve Bank of India will go all the way to ensure that whatever package which is necessary to revive the economy and industries, it will come. We have to have some patience, because obviously there is a bandwidth issue at this point of time, even in the government, and this is how much they can do. So over the next 2-3 weeks, I'm quite confident that some kind of a fiscal package for the industry will also
the
come.
strategy what Prime Minister is currently adopting, which is survival first and revival later. It is important to save first lives, and then economy can come back later.
Yeah, I think it will go simultaneously, Nikunj, and what we are hearing and what we are listening. You will definitely have some kind of a partial lockdown lifted after 14th. Yesterday, I heard the UP's chief minister already said that they are planning to lift the lockdown. So hopefully, over the next few weeks, life should come back to normal. And I must say, most people, including me, underestimated the impact of this on financial markets and stock markets and in the industry. But hopefully, we have seen, possibly, we have seen whatever had to happen. Maybe we have passed through that, or we'll pass through that over the next 2 3 weeks, and hopefully, economy and markets will revive from here. And since I'm here, I cannot but talk about the markets also, maybe my two bits. As I said, let me acknowledge in the beginning, we underestimated what coronavirus can do to the world and possibly also to India. So having said that, I think there are a lot of companies and industries which have essentially come to very, very attractive levels, Nikunj, and for a long-term investor, it is very really good time to selectively invest in a gradual manner in stocks and companies which you like, and keep that 3 to 5 year horizon in mind. And also I would like to say that this is the time when one should not, just because itna sasta ho gaya hai, one should avoid leverage as much as possible, whether you are doing FNO or you are trying to do leverage investing by borrowing money. See, that is the biggest enemy for an investor. That you leverage, and if markets go down, then you suffer a big loss. So as long as it is your own money, I see very, very compelling opportunities to invest. So I think if आप दान करोगे तो कुछ ना कुछ आपके पास जरूर आएगा.
So, Madhu, right, that's such a great point. So Madhu, how would you think the market dynamics will change now? Because every time there has been a reboot, there has been a crisis, the shape of the market and the shape of the economy will change. How do you think investors who are genuine long-term investors who are looking at creating long-term wealth by investing in equities for next 5-10 years should really brace themselves? How can they prepare their portfolios for the new normal?
You have to have belief, Nikunj. This is, as I said, this is 1 in 100-year event. We all can curse ourselves for not being able to predict this, but it is very, very hard to predict. And it is very hard to predict that, you can lose 40% in the index in less than 1.5 months. It is something like this. It is far worse than what we saw even in 2008. So I would humbly acknowledge that it was beyond me to predict this, that we will suffer, and we'll suffer so much in such a short period of time. Having said this, as you said, we have seen it many times in the past, and we have come out of it. So the question is only, you have to have the longer term conviction that the companies which will do well over a period of time, their stock prices will come back. And if you are someone who was not invested or underinvested, maybe this is coming as a real opportunity for you.
So where do you think the bearishness in the market, Madhu, has been slightly overdone, and those stocks or those companies do not warrant that kind of selling?
So clearly, there is a lot of selling which has happened in financials, Nikunj, and understandably because they are the most leveraged. Banks, NBFC, they are the companies which are most leveraged. And as I said, anyone who is leveraged, whether it is a promoter or a company, those are the stocks which have seen maximum amount of beating. But, you please have all standard disclaimer that, anything which I speak, people must consult their advisor. But I would say, which is what we spoke even the last time when we spoke, I see some kind of a leadership emerging very early days in the pharma sector. And if I have to put money now, definitely that is one sector wherein I will seriously consider putting money. Let me just give you some numbers, Nikunj, about the pharma sector, because I track it very closely. So pharma used to be 1 lakh crore in 2009. And in 2014, the sector as a whole went to 10 lakh crores. And now we are close to 5 lakh crores. So basically, in the last 6 years, and mind you, no company in the pharma space has made either a quarterly or a yearly loss, no major company. So basically, it's been a significant derating in the entire sector as compared to what it was in 2014. 2014, clearly the valuations were a little on a little higher side. But considering that today, I think a lot of these stocks are available at a very attractive level. And needless to mention that a lot of these companies do not have a lot of leverage in their balance sheet. A lot of the promoters who run these companies do not have a lot of leverage. And in this environment, I think requirement of medicine logically will go up. So this is my most preferred sector right now.
Right. So where do you think now, Madhu, the new leadership will emerge? Because last 10 years, the leadership belonged to financials. Before that, it belonged to consumers. Before that, it belonged to infra. Before that, it was TMT, technology, media, telecom, all the way. Where do you think the new seeds are being sown so that in the next cycle, one can really, benefit from the harvest or from, from the blossoming?
Outside pharma, again, this will be, men will get separated vis-a-vis boys, Nikunj. This is what we have seen in the past also. So you have to be able to find men in individual sector. And I'm not saying the opportunity is only there in the pharma sector. You will find opportunities selectively, maybe chemical sector. There are people who are making a case that certain amount of outsourcing will surely shift away from China to India. And in specialty chemicals, pharmaceutical, there are a lot of players who will benefit out of this. The other space which I'm very biased, Nikunj, is to look at real absolute deep value, because this is something which has been hated for last 4-5 years. The valuations have gone really, really favorable. There is very attractive dividend yield in deep value stocks, and that ranges from something like an ITC to a lot of public sector companies. So there is a lot of deep value. You need to dig a little deeper, and you will find a lot of attractive stocks. So essentially, three things: deep value, where dividend yield is very high; second, pharmaceutical; and third, chemicals and specialty chemicals.
Right. Now, Madhu, the problem started with China, and thankfully China has come back, and you cannot use the word normalcy, but yeah, Chinese economy is also limping back. All basic data points based on movement of activity, generation of electricity, pollution levels are indicating that Chinese economy is now back on the track. It will take some time before China will gain momentum. But if China is back, is there a serious case for metal stocks and metal related stocks to make a comeback?
I think whenever things bounce back, metal as a sector again will bounce back, because so much money is being pumped in. I think $1 trillion has become a very understated amount now. The amount of money which China is pumping in the economy, the amount of money European countries have pumped, amount of money US is pumping, and amount of today only we saw a stimulus being announced by Japan. There is so much money which is being pumped in, and this is all at zero interest rate. All of it is carrying zero interest rate virtually. So whenever this gets actually back into the economy, clearly metal sector will be one to watch for.
Right. So Madhu, closing comments. Now markets have fallen 40%. You said that no one has seen something like this. That largely could be attributed to the fact that the world is very mechanical, algorithm and digital driven. Algorithms broke the back of the market, and markets in less than 40 days were down 40%. Do you think while we've been surprised, shocked and scared on the way down, markets could be equally surprised, and they could be delighted with the recovery up? Because what algorithms have done to bring the markets down, when market stabilizes, those same algorithms will start working up.
Nikunj, you bring a very important point. I think a lot of the selling which happened, according to me, also happened by the ETF route, and also it was contributed by the fall in oil prices. So I would assume a lot of these sovereign funds which had invested money not only in India but across the world would have had heavy redemption, considering that oil crashed from $60 to virtually $20 again in a matter of month. As you see some stability in oil prices improving, I also expect some amount of this FIA selling will also subside. So you will clearly have a bounce in the market once the FI selling subsides, and once the fear of the virus subsides. Now, whether it will be absolutely V shape or U shape and how long will it sustain will clearly depend on a lot of factors. But for now, let us conclude that markets are attractively priced, and right now there is an opportunity to make investment on a selective basis. And we'll revisit this market maybe 15, 20 days later after seeing what is happening in the world vis-a-vis coronavirus, vis-a-vis oil prices, vis-a-vis the overall financial destability which will come because of what has happened. And then we'll take a subsequent call from
Thank
there
you
on.
very much, and on behalf of everyone from ET Now, thank you for helping ET Now and Times and initiative where we are appealing to everyone in the stock markets, in the financial services, that they should start. They should do their bit. They should donate, and they should generously donate, because if we are at war right now, all war needs a lot of ammunition. Financial markets have been blessed with what's happening to the economy, and stock market participants should come forward and contribute and do their bit in help to help the government fight this current war.